social medias to get going here. My name is Carol. I am the owner and creator behind CarolJo's, which is a place where community and creativity come together. This is not just about creating jewelry. It is also about doing different things here. We do 2 tutorials a week where I show you step by step how to make jewelry. This week, one of our tutorials is not going to actually be a jewelry making. Tomorrow night, we are actually going to take some time to talk about what are all the things that make up jewelry and what you use to make it. So that is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central. We also have a tutorial Wednesday at 2 p.m. where I'm going to show you how to make a mini wristlet. We always do the larger wristlets, but we never take time to do the mini. And I thought, let's take some time to show you how you can make it smaller. Yes, it doesn't fit on the wrist, but it is for someone that doesn't usually put theirs on their wrist, but it gives them a way to find things easily. So we're going to do that on Wednesday. We have chats twice a week. That is where you get to ask questions. We get to share tips and tricks and everything about jewelry making or running a small business. So we'll have that then at our next one will be Wednesday at 8 p.m. Hi, Maria. We are actually having one right now. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. I am an hour earlier than normal. I just have an appointment that I couldn't. If I waited until 2, I would be late to my appointment. So we are here an hour early than we normally are on Mondays. So I don't know how many people are actually going to attend today. So if you could here on TikTok, if you guys could share it out and do the likes, that'll hopefully get people notified that we are live a little early. Sorry, I just have to go to an appointment. It's part of life. All right. So, but today, what we always do at the beginning on Monday's chats is that we talk about what is our Motivational Monday quote. And so I am bringing up that quote so I can read it to you guys because I never memorized them. In my younger days, I probably could have, but today, nope. All right. It is: you are an artist, a maker, and a dreamer. Never forget your hands create magic. And that's the thing, is that we get to create the magic of jewelry when we do this. I will tell you today, I do not have jewelry on, and it's because of the appointment I have to go to. You can't wear jewelry to it. So I thought, I'm not wearing it to begin with, and then to take it off when I get there. So I just didn't go with it. But I can tell you, I love wearing my jewelry. I never wore jewelry before I started doing my own jewelry making. And I love that I can make something that will go with something that is the most precious things in the world to me. But I can also create something that when I look at it, it is just amazing. Yes, I do, Ashley. And so it's amazing to me to be able to make jewelry every day. I don't do it every day like I used to now that I am doing the selling of the components and the findings and everything else that goes into making jewelry, but I still have that love of making it. I still have the love that when it's done, some of the pieces you're just like, I don't want to part with it. There are days that I'm just like, man, I don't want to part with that jewelry. I really don't. And then there are days that I'm like, someone else is going to love it more than me. We don't have to like sit there and be like, I can't part with everything, because my style is different than your guys' styles. And so that's the thing with making jewelry, is that someone is going to love it. That's what I always say with mine. Somebody's going to love it. And if you can't find somebody to love it, if you're one of those that does in-person events or does it over live events, or however you decide you want to do that, just give yourself a time frame of, if it doesn't go to another home at this date, then I'll just take it apart and remake something with it. You don't have to be like so set that it's got, You just got to have faith in it. And that's really what this is about when you're doing your own business, is just have faith. Have faith it's going to work out. Hey, Ashley, thanks for sharing that out. I am on early, like I was explaining at the beginning, and so I don't know how many people are actually going to be joining us. So yes. So that's the quote. I have to ask you guys, what do you think when you hear that quote? Which is, you are an artist, a maker, and a dreamer. Never forget your hands create magic. Thanks, Michelle, for the heart me. I appreciate it. I just want to hear what you guys have to think about it, because sometimes I pick the quotes and I'm like, is anybody going to feel differently than me? Hi, Teresa. So, but that's our quote. And then what else we're going to do this week is, thank you, Candy, for the heart me. Hi, Elena and Stella. All right. So what we have going on tonight at 8 p.m. on TikTok only. It will not be on YouTube. Sorry. I don't have my live events for claiming on YouTube. I only do that on TikTok. So it's just the way that I do the formatting. It just works better over there. But we will have tonight, we are going to have, so far I've got 11 items up for grabs or claims. We're going to have more than that. I'm thinking we're going to be closer to 20 tonight. It's Monday. It's the last Monday of the month. Hi, Austin. Thank you. And that means it is Superstar Night on TikTok. So if you are someone that is a superstar, which is where there is an amount that you pay every month to be a super fan. I love that, Ashley. And so we will have our super fan claiming event. I am talking to both YouTube and to TikTok. I'm on 2 events there, Lucy and Chloe. Or no, that's LOL Bird. Sorry. I got to read down one more. Lucy's like, duh, us. I love it. And so anyways, we'll have Superfan Night tonight where we are going to have 1 pendant. We have jump rings. We're going to have it's a small quantity of one of the chains. That one's a restock. We have an acrylic bead. We have my favorite bead. And that is, I got them sitting here. So I don't know if you guys can see it in there. We have the gold stone in blue. And we have a couple other natural beads that we're going to have for tonight. And then we'll have some glass. And then Goldstone is my favorite. To me, it is very pretty. And I even through, because I'm going to show you something here. When they're talking about over here on YouTube about Goldstone being pretty. Here, let me see. I'm going to take it out and you guys can see there are little flecks in there that just make it sparkle. It is very, very dark in the blue. So yeah. And what Ashley said about our quote, I'm going to go back here because I don't have my backup account today. Whoops. There we go. It says, you can do things others can't, and it brings all kinds of emotions from our items depending on what it is given for. I mean, you can give your custom work to someone too. And that's like one of the things that I get, and when I started doing jewelry, is I gave away all the jewelry to begin with, and that just brought a ton of joy to me. I love doing it. I loved giving it away. And then what happened is that I gave it all away, and I didn't know what to do anymore. So then I started my business. That's how it all started, is because I loved making jewelry. And everybody who wore jewelry, I'd given it to. And I'm like, what else do I do? So that's how it all started. Yeah, I was gonna say, blue goldstone. It comes in brown, blue, green, and I believe even, I normally do. I usually have jewelry on, but today, Austin, I have an appointment after this that I can't wear jewelry to, or you have to take it off when you get there. And so I decided not to put it on yet. Oh, that is a neat idea. So Teresa is sending a bunch of bracelets for the nursing home where her mother lives for bingo prizes. I usually wear jewelry every day, except for like one day a week. I go without makeup, without doing my hair, and no jewelry. It is my natural day. I say everybody should have that and not feel guilty for doing it. I literally will go out in public with, yes, I have clothes on, but no makeup, no hair done. And I'm okay with it. And that's one thing I think everybody needs to be able to embrace, is that you have the right to be you when you go out in public. There is a place I live in South Dakota. I live just outside of Sioux Falls. And there is a place in Sioux Falls where you can donate jewelry to those that are trying to find a job. They are able to use the jewelry, and they do shoes and an outfit to help people interview. And I think that's an amazing thing to do too. But I love the nursing home idea. I love that one. And that's the thing, is that we need to figure out ways that we can give back, that we can use what we've got. And it doesn't always have to be about giving monetary, because sometimes being able to gift the jewelry and stuff is something that's amazing too. So what other places? That just makes me want to ask. And some people do not talk about where they do giving at because that's personal to them, and I totally understand that. But what are some other ideas of what you guys have gifted with your jewelry to others? I just have to hear, because I think it's an amazing thing to hear that sometimes. Oop, gotta put this in there. I only had stickers ready for one item today. I gotta sticker the rest of them. Right there. But, oh, I forgot to tell you guys about what else, the other live claim events that we're going to have on, I'm kind of cold. So that's why I'm kind of like, because I'm cold in here. And it's 70 in our house. It shouldn't be this cold. We just have talk today, Austin. It's not about a message per se. It's about being able to connect with the jewelry community, to be able to share tips and tricks, and to be able to just have a time where we can talk. I never thought about that, Michelle. So Michelle has done it. She was asked to make bracelets to put in the Operation Children's shoebox for Christmas, which that's awesome. And then Ashley said, how do I go about finding places like that? For me personally, when I was working outside of here in my home, when I worked in a corporate setting, you would hear about them, and you can reach out to them that way, through your church, through your community. Why can't I think of what that is called all of a sudden? In your town or city, they have the chamber. There, that's it. I'm like, it's a C word. You can contact the chamber and say, okay, do you have any like nonprofits that would benefit from me being able to share this. Um, we have done things at like the school. If a teacher needed beads to do a project with the classroom, and by doing that, then that opens it, discussion to other individuals like through the school, and you can just, it grows. And I am the type of person that my giving isn't about my business per se, because I am my business because I'm a single, one person business, but I want to give back to the community, but it also helps get my name out there. So when people want to buy jewelry, they can come to me. But that's not what it's always about. A lot of people do giving in a business so that it correlates back to money for the business, even if it's a not for profit or a nonprofit type thing. I just do it because I want to do it. And it's a hard part because I don't always talk about every place that I give to or every way I give, because I am like that individual that I talked about earlier, where some of the things that I do I don't talk about because it isn't about getting kudos for what I do. It is about helping someone or helping the community, that type of thing. And so that's what that's about. So that's what I'm going to say about it. Thank you, Candy. And it's a hard thing to talk about sometimes. Yep, exactly. So Ashley put in there, it gives warm fuzzies to help others for me and nothing else needed. And sometimes that is exactly what it is. And I'm the type of person that when I was in the corporate world and United Way would come and we would have the United Way rally, and you would hear the stories about people who benefited from the United Way. And then if you were in a certain thing within giving, they would have someone from United Way come and speak with the employees um, once a quarter, so 4 times a year, about how the donations are helping them out. And it just ever, and then being a part of the board of the business that I am a part of, they have their own nonprofit attached underneath it. And so they were giving us this is where the money went to this last year from that. And I'm like, I'm the biggest crier at all those. Man, I sit there and I just tear up. And the chairman of the board looked at me and I'm like, no more tears, no more tears. And he's probably going, what is your problem? And I'm like, don't cry. Because I'm the crier at all of those things. When I see somebody getting the help they need, I cry. That is an awesome thing, Candy. I love it. She says she has some of her pieces in a bag and gives it to anyone who looks like they're having a bad day. Those are the types of things that are just like make your day. The littlest things. Yay! You have the whole week off, Heidi? I will tell you all, though, um, I think that's an awesome idea. And some others are thinking that they're going to do it. So I love it. I actually had at the last corporate job, the one from until February, um, I had a manager, and he wasn't actually my manager at one time. He was my manager's manager. And then that manager was out, so we directly reported to him until he could get a replacement in type thing. Very wonderful guy. Very employee supportive, awesome guy. And he came in to do our United Way rally, and he was talking about he was like he started the way the story started. It sounded like he was talking like he had interviewed somebody to get this information. And all of a sudden, partway through, I'm like, this is how he grew up, I think. Because he would make comments about how he grew up, but you'd not always put it together. And it came out that this kid was him. And I'm like, okay, waterworks at that point. But he grew up in an environment where being kind to people was extremely impressed upon him. And he grew up in a single parent home at a time when it wasn't the norm. And everything that his mom did for him was like, wow. I okay, Candy wrote a comment. She says, "You never know what someone is going through, and their smile makes my day every time." And that is so, so, so true. And I even do one thing that I thought about, consciously have thought about in my life, is when you're walking in the halls at work, you're walking down an aisle at the store. We are normally so caught up into this right here, what's in front of me, blinders on, that I did this when I was a teenager. I would sit and smile at people walking in the store. Do you know how many people give you a weird look if you just smile at them? And I'm like, can't my smile give you something positive today? Some people look at you like you're nuts. Being from Sioux Falls is where I grew up at. I don't live in Sioux Falls anymore, but that's where I grew up a majority of my life at. It is small town USA where, yes, it is getting bigger, but like it was the norm to smile to people. When I went to college in Minneapolis, people looked at you funny when you smiled. Like, I'm walking to class and I'll be like, okay. And every once in a while you throw it a hi and people look at you like, why are you talking to me? But you know what? I still don't give it up. I'm like, I will smile because that smile is going to make someone else smile. God darn it. And it might not be someone else, but you never know. Just like you're saying, you never know what they went through. And maybe that's all they need today. So that's my little tidbit of being from small town Midwest. Yep. And that's the thing about, there are people who have chronic pain and don't understand that, because like people don't understand them because they can't see on the inside. And that is, the autoimmune diseases. We never know what anybody is going through. We don't know if they're having mental health issues. We don't know if they have autoimmune issues. We don't know a darn thing because you can't see all of the issues that we all go through. And I'm going to call them issues because guess what? They can hinder us, or we can have a positive outlook and go, we're going to beat this today. And I'm going to do one thing better today than it was yesterday. And it might be, I just got out of daggone bed. It's okay. Yep. You can, people will, if you have the autoimmune or if you have something on the inside, whatever it is, people do not understand how debilitating it can be. And that's why we can't judge people because of what they're going through. And literally, well, we just need to be kind. I watch every day someone on YouTube here, almost every day, not every day, but all she puts out there is be kind. And I know there's shirts with be kind, and it's so funny that we're here where we're at right now and we have to remind people to be kind. But I have to take a step back and say, yes, we all need reminders, because even when we go through something every single day, reminders help us be better. That's why depending on your beliefs, that you go to church and read the Bible to remember that. Even though it's going to be up in here, we just need the reminder. Or if there's some process that we do at work, they have to have training annually to help us remember. And that whole entire be kind, we just need to be reminded. That's all I have to say about is there just needs to be gentle reminders, just like we have for everything else. Yep, it is free. She said, Candy says, I agree. Plus, kindness is free. I tell my kids that all the time. And that's the thing that we just need to do. I mean, we can all have a bad day. I'm not saying, there are days when I know I've said something that wasn't right. And one of them, still to this day, I said it on a live, and the word I said it, I'm like, that's not the right word. And even that was like 2 weeks ago, and I still am like, I should have done better. But I can't beat myself up over it. I just need to not say that word again. And it's like, I need to give myself kindness and grace. Because if I can't give myself kindness and grace, I can't give it to others. And I'm just like, I just got to remember not to say that word. And it's so stupid. I'm like, I know there's a better word, but this is the only word that I can think of right now. I was going to say IDK though. I don't know the rest of it. Hi. I'm like, yep. You never make fun of anybody. And there was a kid when I was going through middle school and high school that people made fun of. He's a very nice guy. He's a very eclectic person, but he's not a need to make fun of him. And it used to bug me. And I'm like, why do you guys make fun of him? He's just a person. Not just but he's a person. You don't make fun of everybody else. Why do you? It was, and I even went on to work with him. He was not the easiest to work with because he was so eclectic, but you know what? You figured him out and you figured out how you could talk to him and you just moved on. But it's not a reason to make fun of him. And that's the one thing that I remember, because I ended up having to train a lot at my last job. I don't know why. I didn't know it all. But I ended up training people. And one of the things that I remember telling my manager was you have to figure out how everybody learns and how they communicate and how they interact to understand them, to be able to have a conversation with them about teaching them. And that's it. I grew up in a different environment about people being different. So we moved into the house that I grew up in. Lived in. My mom and dad lived there until my mom passed away. So they were probably in that house for close to over 40 years, I would say. And next door to us was an apartment. And the bottom apartment had a mom and her daughter. And then the other daughter lived in the next apartment. They were homes divided up into apartments. Thank you, Candy. And the daughter that lived with her mom had the mental age of I would say kindergarten first grader. And when we moved in, she was in her 50s, I believe, late 40s, early 50s. So as a kid, I could talk to her when we moved in there, just like she was. As we grew up, her mental age stayed, and our mental ages grew up, my sister and I. But we didn't think anything of it. What happened to her is that when she was very young, she got, there used to be exposed springs on beds a long time ago. They're not like that anymore. But she got caught on one of the exposed springs when she was very young, and it cut the oxygen to her brain, and that limited her mental abilities for an age-wise. Hi, Ducky. And so for me, I just thought everybody had somebody like that in their lives that you knew was different, but they're just a human being and you can talk to them and you could play with them. I mean, when she was younger, she would play dolls with us because that was her mental age. Having her in my life made me realize not everybody is the same. And I didn't realize that in our society, we would say she's different. To me, she was just a human being that was our next door neighbor that would hang out with us when we were younger. As we got older, we didn't make fun of her, but we realized there was something different. We just didn't know or understand it until we got to be adults what it really was. But there was never ever my mom would have never allowed us to make fun of her at all. Never. And I think that's how come I grew up with something different, is because we had her next door to us and we could see that every day. And she was really good. I mean, she was really good at helping us learn about that. And I don't know that, everybody in this world has someone like that, but I'm very grateful we did. And, you know, because of that, I think that's helped me out in my life. I don't know. I have to ask my sister this. Well, we're at Thanksgiving because we're going to Thanksgiving. We'll be together for Thanksgiving. We can talk about it. About just how you were brought up when you think about that. Woohoo! I'm glad you got it. Now you have to tell us what you think. And you had an aunt like that, okay? And so you had it too. And to me, it was nothing different. It's just a human being who needs to be. I mean, we interacted. They would sit outside every day on the front lawn and just out enjoying the traffic going by and the squirrels running around and whatever was going on. And we would go sit with them every day while I was younger. And then when we got into sports and that type of stuff, then we weren't there as much. But so that was like how I grew up. And it's really funny because we never called her aunt, but we called her mom grandma and we called her sister grandma because her mom would have been old enough. So my grandma on my mom's side and the sister or that lived alone, they were the same age. But my grandma from my mom's side was a lot older. She was almost as old as my great grandparents on my dad's side. My mom was a very late in life child. There was a lot of years between her and her brothers. So, um, like the mom of the two girls could have been old enough to have been my great grandma. So, I mean, we're talking about people that were probably born in the 1800s for the mom, and then the daughters were born in the 19 teens or 20s. So, I mean, it was a long time ago. They would be over 100 now. But they were what we call grandma. I called her grandma, our next door neighbor's grandma. Did anybody else have neighbors like that where you called your next door neighbor grandma? Just because that's what we did. And we would go grocery shopping every week for the because the daughter that lived alone ended up passing away of cancer, and we would go get groceries every week for the mom and the daughter that lived there, and any errands that they needed running, we would do that for them. So here we are every day, we went grocery shopping the same day every week with two carts, one for our family and one for theirs. Oh, you were in the country? Ah, well, you know what I get called now? I love that, Teresa. So now that, Buttercup calls Ryan and I Oma and Opa, but a lot of people don't know what Oma and Opa really is, grandma and grandpa. And so she's gotten to the point with her friends, she calls us grandma and grandpa to her friends, but when she's talking to us, she calls us Oma and Opa. And it's so that she doesn't have to explain what it means. We get that. And so when she's talking on the phone with her friends, they're usually on video calls and we're walking by. And I remember the day when my kids were younger and I was their name mom. And now I am Buttercup's name and mom or grandma. I'm grandma. You know, they're like, Buttercup's grandma. Hi. Or hi, Buttercup's grandma. And I'm like, holy, when did I get to grandma stage? I'm like, I still don't have an identity. I thought after the kids moved on, I would actually have my own name. Nope, nope, nope. I'm just grandkid grandma. Like, I find it funny. So did they call your grandpa and grandma Ashley's grandpa and grandma then? I just was like, but I'm like, I've always been, and then thank you, Jose. With Courtney, she went to introduce me to the volleyball team when she was playing volleyball. Okay. And so I don't know why, she couldn't remember my name and she told them I was Shakira. And I'm like, we all looked and we're like, Shakira? And they're like, huh. And then it was, and she's like, no, it's Carol. And I'm like, okay. So from that time on, I was actually, they did call me Shakira for that grade. That grade called me Shakira. Not even my name. So yeah. So I was either my kids' name, Mom, or Shakira. I was just like, and to this day, I'm like, how did you pull Shakira out? It wasn't even like on the radio when we were there. And she's like, I don't know. It just came out instead of Carol. Thanks for all the gifts, Jose. I hope you're having a great day. So yes. Oh, you are not agent. Well, Buttercup is so nice because she'll be like, I'll be like, I'm not old. And she's like, yeah, you are. And I'm like, thanks. I'm like, really? Yeah, that's not Shakira. But I'm like, I don't know how she came up with it. So yes, now everybody's gonna be going, Shakira. And so when I wouldn't answer the kids, you know, we all have those kids. You all out in public will hear mom. And you're just like thinking, oh, they're talking about somebody else. It's not me. And you tune out mom when you're in public a lot. And then my kids would call me Carol. And when I started tuning out Carol, then they started calling me Shakira in public. And I'd be like, what? Oh, dear Lord, tell him no, we're not prehistoric yet. Because I was before 84 and I'm not. I tell him I'm not old yet. I just can't move like I used to. Can't. I do have better eyesight than my husband right now. I think he needs bifocals. I never ever had bifocals. That's the one thing I can say is I never had bifocals. I just had really, really bad seeing distance. Excuse me. I got the yawns. I was going to let everybody know, for anybody who took care of their list today, I am not going to send out your packages until tomorrow. So, because I got a majority of everything done and it went with Ryan this morning. who I think after listening to him all weekend about his earache, yeah, you're not old yet if you're not four, and even under four or even 40 to me is not old. And it's so funny because I remember when my great grandparents were in their 80s and 90s, and I'm like, wow, they're old, they're retired. That's just so cool to get to retirement. And I'm getting close to that. Not 80 or 90, but retirement. I'm like, that's like my biggest thing is I get to retire someday. Woohoo. Even though I don't think I could ever just totally not do something. I always said I was going to retire from my corporate job in like 3 years, do this full time until I got to 65, and then I'd be okay. But that's not. Oh my Lord. I was going to say, electricity has been around a lot longer than that. I was wondering, you guys are going to laugh at this, just talking about getting your hair chopped. Um, I have a hair appointment next week, and I'm like, should I cut it off? I haven't had my hair this long in forever. And I was looking at pictures of when I was a kid, and I literally, when my hair would get to like this length, and it was literally like this length, and then I would chop it off up to here. And then I would grow it, and in a year, I would have long hair, and then the next year it'd be chopped again. And I'm like, should I do that now as an adult or just let it keep growing? And then I'm like, well, what if I stopped coloring it? And then I think about, no, because you don't have enough gray yet. I got to get more gray before we get there. Hi, Geraldine. Um, I am working on, I wanted to let you guys all know, I'm working on getting all of the information together about how we're going to do Friday and Saturday. And so I will probably put up a video by Wednesday because I don't want to do it on Thursday. And so you guys can watch it and know how it's all going to work. I just have to make sure that all the words that I'm going to use for the video are appropriate for TikTok, because I don't want to say a word that's wrong and then they restrict the video, because I have had videos restricted. So like I have a backup account, and I used to post the same video on my main account and my backup account. Jeez. I hope it gets soon, because sitting there sometimes you're like, hello. And I hope you're feeling good. But they would restrict my videos, and it was whichever one they happened to come across second. It could be I would post it on my main account and first, and then my backup account second is usually how I did it. But it was 50-50 on which one was going to get restricted. Okay. And so I just ended up, I repost from the video on my backup account, because that's how people can see it on my backup account without it getting restricted. Every way that they have tried to like stop stuff from happening, I've been trying to figure out ways that we can still continue to grow and overcome all of the setbacks. That's what I call them, as setbacks. And so I want to make sure that this information that I share with you is in a wording that TikTok will be okay with, so we don't get a restriction. So once I get that all completed, I will create the video, but it might not be until Wednesday. But it's going to tell you how the, and of all things, giveaway was one word I've been told I can say without being restricted. I know others say, oop, nope, but I have yet to, and I'm going to keep saying that word because I haven't been with it so far. But how I'm going to do giveaways from like zero, or from 10K to 90K, how we're going to do like all the 100K, 200K, 300K. in all of that. So I want to tell you how those are because that ties into how this all works. We are talking, James, about on Friday and Saturday, we are going to be doing Black Friday and Small Business Saturday events over on TikTok. And we have to watch how we word things on TikTok to make sure that it's compliant with their ways of doing things. And so I'm going to do an event and I want to talk about it, but I have to make sure my words are correct because I'm live on both right now. But I do have to get going because I do need to get to my appointment. Yes, I know. And it's like it's exciting about what I want to do, but it's like I got to make sure the words are right so that you guys can understand it. I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm like, ah, because I'm excited about it. And it's a way that I want you guys to be able to get things at I gotta watch my words here. The way that you guys can get items that you have claimed with um creative credits that are a percentage. There. That's the type of thing. Just like me saying that, because you can't say DISCOUNT or percentage OFF. I'm going to be spelling here for a second because those are the types of things. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like, so, but I'm going to hop off here. But I'm gonna. Oh, okay, I was reading some things. I'm gonna hop off. We will be back at 8 p.m. tonight. So how tonight with super fans is that anybody who's a super fan will be able to do the claiming in the chat because the chat will work for super fans. The chat doesn't work for those that are not super fans. And so we will go and they will be able to claim the items that we have tonight, but you will also be able to watch if you're not a super fan. So that's what's going to happen tonight on TikTok. And for YouTube, we will be back tomorrow night with our tutorial on what are components and findings and all the things that you can use to create jewelry. All right, everybody. We'll see y'all in a little while. Bye.